me up, 'cause I'm such a junkie. Every day all I want is more. So entertain me right now. So entertain me right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. I am joined by one of my fellow junkies this evening, and her name is
Olivia.
Our dear junkie Nicole is still on some extravagant adventure. I don't know.
Still upset with her for
on
not
the
inviting
moon
us.
or some shit.
Yeah,
Where are you, girl?
Yeah, why do you hate us? Why didn't you invite us?
When did you decide that you hated us?
No,
and why
I'm
didn't
jealous.
you warn us first?
I hope you're living your best Lord of the Rings LARPing.
Oh my God, if Nicole is LARPing, I would die.
I would love that for me deeply, but like I feel like you kind of have to think that as an American going to Australia, New Zealand area, you know?
That you're LARPing. I've always actually I've kind of like wanted to LARP.
Okay.
Because I like...
You like a cosplay, you're like adjacent.
I cosplay, I play Dungeons and Dragons. The next logical step is to live action play.
Is a LARP.
Is a LARPing.
I agree.
Absolutely. Would you do it with me?
Maybe.
That's a yes, fan.
One thing about me is I will always say yes to everything.
You absolutely will. I've texted Olivia so many times and I'm like, I have 2 tickets to this band. Do you want to come? She goes, okay. I'm like, do you even like them? Uh-oh.
That's why I'm traveling so much this year. Every single person in my life last year was like, do you want to go on this trip? And I said yes, and did not look at calendars. So that's how I went on 3 trips in 11 days.
Oh my God.
Jet set, baby.
Jet set, baby. So what have you been obsessed with this week, Olivia?
Okay, so we're not entirely sure when this episode is coming out, but at this moment in time, it is Tortured Poets release week.
Oh, God.
I know. I told you it was going to be insufferable.
I know. I'm okay with
I
that.
gave you like 4 to 6 weeks advance notice.
You really have. Like, we're going out to dinner this weekend, and she goes, oh, I'll go. I just want you to know I'm going to be insufferable.
I'm
And
going to be so hung up.
I know this, and I love you.
I'm going to be so hung up on lyrics. I'm just going to have an existential crisis. I'm probably going to be a little depressed. But so today, Taylor Swift has made those playlists. We talked about that already. However, she made the 5 Stages of Grief playlist, and that was really the only promotion that she had done for Tortured Poets. Then she released like this scavenger hunt of her capitalizing letters only on Apple Music. So Apple Music besties really had to do the work. Thankfully, we all have TikTok. So she was capitalizing letters to find this hidden code or whatever. We don't know what it fully is yet because the last day is Wednesday. It comes out Thursday night. And so it's I hereby conduct is the words that we know at this exact moment in time. People think it's going to say autopsy.
Okay, so I watched
autopsy of a relationship.
I watched that video that she posted today, whenever this airs. Yeah. And it's her going through like a door in a nice bedroom, and then it kind of goes into a hospital hallway.
Yeah, it's more like a department hallway, like of a stuffy old library. Almost.
Maybe that's it. It's very sterile, kind of overhead lighting.
She leaves the Midnight's bedroom and walks into the Tortured Poets department. And they did this library installation today and through the release of Tortured Poets. There's all these Easter eggs, and they're like releasing all of these lyrics. And up until today, I was like, I'm doing so well. I am so grounded in reality this time.
My mental health is fine.
I'm doing so well with this release. And then she did it. And for the last 2 hours, they changed the lyrics that they had displayed like in the book and lost it. It was not productive. I went down a rabbit hole. So
weren't you supposed to be working today, sweetie?
I did until they changed the lyrics at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And
I'm sick.
Yeah, they put up this crazy like QR code, and it was TS's and 13s was the entire code, and people were hand painting
over
it.
The
it was
world
crazy.
Just losing their fucking minds.
It was like a Spotify thing. And so, yeah, I really was like, wow, I'm doing so good. everyone thinks it's going to be a double album drop.
Everybody
and
thinks
I'm like,
that my
I'm
mental
so in
stability
reality.
is not good.
No.
Shows them.
By the time this comes out, it will have released. And just know I'm unwell.
I know
I'm
you will
very
be.
unwell.
We're going to go to Taylor Swift bingo at our favorite bar, the Casual Pine Central Phoenix, on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Taylor Swift themed.
It's Taylor Swift Singo.
It's Taylor Swift Singo.
So
and
bingo, but with 45-second clips of her songs.
I fully expect you to just be feral and foaming at the mouth the entire time.
I do take full credit for forcing them to do that the first time.
Yes.
And then it was so successful. So they started doing it with us. And I'm really excited. We are making bracelets for it.
Oh, we've made a lot of bracelets.
I've made more since you left that night, but I finally got Shauna to watch the Eras tour, and we made 30 bracelets and counting
It was
so far.
so good. I really liked it.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. The set pieces, the costumes.
Yeah.
It was great. I get it. Listen,
So-
I get it.
The only thing on my brain, and Chaperone's Coachella performance, it was amazing. Everything I've ever wanted.
I haven't watched a
Iconic.
lot of the Coachella performances.
It was great. Sabrina Carpenter was amazing too.
You know what I really enjoy is that Kesha came out.
Yes.
And
changed the lyrics.
she
to F.
changed.
P. Diddy.
Yes. Wake up in the morning like, fuck P. Diddy.
Yeah.
And, oof, that's just the perfect.
Yeah. I don't think you want to wake up feeling like P. Diddy
Oh,
at this
never.
exact moment in time.
Absolutely
It's a
not.
little
Ooh.
felonious.
Ooh, it's a little felonious.
Yeah. Felonious.
Felonious is a great word.
Yeah, it is.
Felonious. Well, my what I've been obsessed with is very different from yours, but that's okay.
Okay.
That's why we love each other.
Okay.
So I talked about X-Men 97 recently on the podcast, but it's been going insane, dude. This show is just, I cried at a cartoon. I cry at anime. Like, that's not unusual for
You
me.
crying? Never.
Me? Emotional? We're not emotional women. That's
Never felt the
absolutely not.
feeling in my life.
When I broke my foot, I didn't cry, I just
You
groaned.
whimpered like a
I
dog.
whimpered, but no tears were shed.
Yeah, you whimpered like a dog. I woke up thinking a dog was outside our window hurt.
I didn't want to wake you up.
You did. But
I didn't want to wake you up. I was so...
I didn't understand the gravity of the
Doesn't it
situation at the time.
No, neither did I. Seeing by... Oh, yeah, from our last episode, update listeners, my foot is broken.
Fully broken.
Oh, it was broken on the last
Yeah.
episode, too. But now I can walk. Now I can walk a little bit on a walking boot. Anyway, so I've been watching a lot of TV and playing a lot of Sims. I made the Spice Girls in the Sims, like I told you.
I love that so much.
I custom made each of their faces with pictures of them up zoomed in. I made Sporty Spice's gold teeth. I put their tattoos. I have them in beautiful
Was Sporty
outfits.
Spice the original Grills girly?
I mean, the original white girl appropriating
I
grills
don't
culture,
know.
maybe.
But she did it before Nelly. That's all I know.
Ooh, shit. Nelly versus Sporty Spice.
I think
Celebrity deathmatch. Oh,
I
that
did
was a
just
good
see a
show.
video of a Nelly concert, and there were like 5 people there.
No, I would see
in
Nelly.
like an arena.
Nelly, please come and be on the podcast, please. We've gotten so sidetracked.
We'll bleep that out if you come on the podcast.
If we
That
wait,
you had 5 people at
that
the
you,
concert.
and that you're gonna fight Sporty Spice.
Oh no. We'll take a revisionist history.
We'll
approach
revision
you
it
wanna
if
come on the podcast.
if you come on the podcast. Anyway, okay, backtrack. Spice Girls, Sims. I have been watching X-Men 97.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a quick spoiler alert if you are not caught up on X-Men 97. This is gonna talk about episode 5 of the show. The first 4 episodes were supposed to be nostalgic and like, oh my God, their conflicts are going to be a little light and fluffy. And the creator came out and said that episode 5 is going to be more or less their 9/11.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who says that?
The creator of X-Men 97, it's going to be the 9/11 of the...
Like they're
the
actually
X-Men
going to have a
universe.
terrorist attack?
They had a terrorist attack in episodes 5 of
okay.
X-Men 97.
Okay.
And it's the episode where everything kind of changes. So it's, okay, again, spoiler alert for episode 5. It is called Remember It. And it takes place, there's this island called Genosha. I won't go into the deep-seated Marvel details of what Genosha is, but in this universe, it is a island where mutants, which are what the X-Men are, they're all mutants, right? it's kind of their paradise. So mutants can come and be themselves, expose their powers, and just no hiding what you are, right? Okay. You can just be fully yourself. So Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto go to Genosha to talk about Magneto participating in some kind of, I don't know, leading their nation, right?
Okay.
He says he'll only do it if Rogue is involved and his queen. Him and Rogue, they say, had a relationship. Magneto's hella old, and Rogue is not.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of hot, and in the comics, they definitely had like a relationship a little bit too.
Play Rogue? No.
In the live action movies, yes.
Okay.
So imagine Ian McKellen and Anna Paquin making out.
Ew.
Exactly. And that's
Anna Paquin making out with anyone is good. I guess not old people.
Yeah, but imagine that now animated.
Yeah.
And imagine that the guy who is also pining after her, but she can't touch, is Channing Tatum because he's supposed to play Gambit for the past like 15 years. So Gambit is one of my favorite X-Men. He's my husband's favorite X-Man.
Okay.
And him and Rogue have always had this kind of like will they, won't they kind of southern. They're both from the South. They're real horny. You've probably seen the X-Men movies, right? Because you know Anna Paquin, she can't touch anyone or they will book and die.
Yeah.
She can touch Magneto because his magnetic powers kind of counteract hers. So he's the only person that she can have skin-to-skin contact
with. Anna Paquin picking these people where it's like True Blood.
Kind of these old...
Well, the older
the
gentlemen
Southern.
where they just have this thing about them that no one else has power-wise. Like she can't touch, she can't read their mind.
I didn't even think about that.
Anna Paquin point
to be fair, she's not the voice of Rogue in the show. The voice of Rogue in the show sounds like Dolly Parton,
she's
and
my
I could go on about that. She's the people's Rogue.
She's the people's Rogue. I love Anna Paquin.
So her and Magneto do this sexy dance, and they're touching each other. She's like, "Oh, sugar, we can touch each other's skin." And then...
Is that how the voice sounds?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And then Gambit, I won't even try to do Gambit's accent because it's absurd. The voice actor is great. He's supposed to sound like he's from New Orleans, but I think it's kind of goofy sounding. Anyway, he dies in this episode. I'm just going to cut to this chase. Gambit dies. And he goes out in a blaze of glory and he shows off his powers in a wonderful way. And the last line he says is, "My name's Gambit. Remember it." And then he dies. And
rhymes.
Finally, Rogue, my name's Gambit, remember it. Rogue is holding his dead body in the final scene, and she can finally touch him because he's dead.
And you cried.
Oh, of course I cried. My husband cried. I think the entire internet cried. And there's no way that he's dead. This, I don't know. It's so gut-wrenching.
What are his powers? Like fire?
So... I love you so much.
No, what are they?
Gambit kind of energizes objects that he touches, so he infuses them with like kinetic energy.
Okay.
So a lot of the time he uses playing cards. So he'll kind of throw like a deck of cards at you and it like sticks in your forehead and kills you or your neck.
Sick, bro.
It's totally sick. And he has a staff that he uses a lot. And this time there's a terrorist attack in Genosha and these giant robots are there and he is stabbed in like the side. And then he powers the entire robot with his kinetic energy and he goes, "My name's Gambit, remember it," and explodes. And then he dies.
The reason I asked about the fire, I was like, is he like a phoenix?
Oh, so actually Phoenix is another X-Men character that you're thinking of. And that is Jean Grey because she has this dark arc, a dark willow arc.
Is that the one with Sophie Turner?
Yes. Oh my God. I love that you at least know the movies. But yes, in the comics, that's a very famous arc that she goes through where she is this dark demon called like the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
And that's probably where you got that from. But
speaking of Sophie Turner and that character, I thought that was an ambitious post-Game of Thrones role.
I agree.
I would have thought she would have went to like something totally opposite of that.
Yeah.
And then maybe done X-Men.
I liked her as Jean Grey. She was okay, but like, I don't know. That movie was just when they brought in like the younger generation of X-Men. The first couple were amazing, and then it went downhill very quickly. So I'm very excited for them to come into the MCU. And X-Men 97 has been amazing. It's gotten incredible scores on Rotten Tomatoes. I think just all across the internet, everybody's devastated by our boy Gambit. And the only ray of hope we have is that this time-traveling character showed up earlier in the episode, and his name's Cable. And he seemed to be warning his mother, who is Jean Grey, that this imminent attack was coming. And so there's this little glimmer of hope that maybe he can use some kind of time traveling to undo this terrorist attack on Genosha, and maybe Gambit can come back. So that's what us Gambit fans are hoping for.
Us Gambies.
Our Gamby-Pambies. I'm never going to say that again.
Never say that again.
Or maybe I will. Maybe I will. Real quick, I won't go on about it, but I also watched the first episode of the Fallout TV series. It is on Prime Video. It is based on the video game series Fallout. It is a future post-apocalyptic Los Angeles. There's a nuclear bomb that goes off in the 1950s. Then it cuts to 200 years later. People are living in bunkers underground.
Oh.
The video game series is very tongue-in-cheek, kitschy. I mean, it's serious because obviously it's a nuclear fucking bomb, but a lot of like iconic imagery of Nuka-Cola comes from that video game. And I watched Andrew play it, and we really enjoyed the first episode. So hopefully by the time this episode airs, I'm deeper into that. But so far,
what's it on?
It is on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And so far, I am popping it because the first episode intrigued me.
I like it. I like it
too. So we briefly mentioned P. Diddy and Kesha editing her lyrics. Wake up in the morning feeling like, fuck P. Diddy. So it brings us to a larger topic. So even before the Me Too movement, especially after it, a lot of fans of pop culture have kind of been going through this problem of, can we separate the art from the artist? So can we or should we continue to enjoy and celebrate the work of problematic producers, artists, musicians? I think there's a larger discussion of at what point do you draw the line, right, with these artists or people that you enjoy, and does it become different if it's somebody that you have been a passionate fan of? So for like P. Diddy, for example, I mean, any millennial, we used to like P. Diddy's music. I won't go out and pretend like I was some huge fucking P. Diddy stan, right? Mm-hmm. But on my Throwback Jams playlist, I absolutely had some P. Diddy songs. Did I remove them recently? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I think in the case of P. Diddy, it's really interesting because you have artists like Notorious B.I.G., you have a ton of people within the Def Jam Records umbrella as well, which is owned by P. Diddy. I think it's a very difficult and interesting conversation to navigate, and we'll try to be as sensitive as possible going through this. But I think for me, when I really look at any artist and any like cancelable offense, so to speak, it really comes down to, I think one of the fundamental educations of like your dollar means so much.
Absolutely.
In your ability as like an individual citizen. So I think about it in that sense where it's, you know, real change does not happen unless there's like a financial impact to it.
And that's why there's a lot of corporations and businesses that people don't go to anymore. I mean, I won't spend any money at Hobby Lobby anymore because of their stances on women's rights and abortion issues, right? And any company,
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, any company that you don't want to give your money to, that's I do still buy Starbucks, I'll admit that. Listen. And that's what it comes to. Where do you draw the line, right? Because it comes to a certain point, there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, right?
Yeah.
So if we cancel every single business that ever exists, can we exist in a society?
Yeah.
You know, like if we stop going, oh, I heard Target did this, I heard Walmart did that. Can we ever do or exist or fill up our tanks or go grocery shopping again? Obviously, everybody has their own morals, and you have their own, like, I won't do this. Like, I won't eat Chick-fil-A. I won't stop at Hobby Lobby. But like, at what point do do people draw that line? That's so interesting.
Yeah, I think with art specifically, like when I think about a movie, right? I think Harvey Weinstein is a great example in this. Horrible person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cancel Harvey Weinstein forever. Never let him work in Hollywood ever again. But then you walk into this, should every Miramax film not ever be consumed again? And I think it's such a difficult conversation because there are so many artists and individuals who were put into an abusive system and an unfair system where it does become this canceling the art and the artist. Like when I really think about artists that I'm like, okay, I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to listen to your music or things like that. Like it does ultimately more come down to individual like musicians. I think like the way that I look at it, because there are so many moving pieces.
I totally
to movies
agree.
And things like that. But yeah, I was thinking about this and like looking at it. And I think there are a lot of different examples of individuals that like I just cannot support. I think a lot of it comes down to like, are you taking advantage of these disadvantaged groups?
Exactly. I absolutely agree with everything you just said. So when it's an individual artist, and I do realize that there's a team that goes behind producing music, but let's take Chris Brown, for example.
Yeah. No.
Fuck Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I will never listen to another Chris Brown record again. I skip that. It's not on my playlists because of his abuse.
Well, and it's not just like the Rihanna thing. It's every single year since Rihanna.
Exactly. This, I mean, it's inexcusable.
Like a pattern of behavior.
He has a pattern of abuse, and it's...
One is enough, but it's a pattern of behavior.
Absolutely. So, but the music it's Chris Brown's music. So you can't say, well, I still listen to Chris Brown's music, but it's because I'm supporting his backup band. I'm supporting, his background singers were really great and I'm friends with them. Like, that's not how that works. When it comes to like a movie or a TV show, sure. I mean, you and I are both huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans. I'm wearing literally a Spike t-shirt, right? Like that is my...
It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. It's so comfortable.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. This is like the extent of me getting dressed with my broken foot that I'm willing to do right now.
The hobble.
Literally with my hobble. Hashtag the hobble. But Joss Whedon is a dick, right? Like,
yeah, he was pretty abusive on set.
Yeah, in recent years, it's come out that he was awful to Charisma Carpenter. He was awful to work with. He was sexist in the workplace. He was racist. But like, I understand that there's so much more that goes into a TV show beyond just Joss Whedon. There's actors, there's the camera crew, there's the sound, there's the directors, the writers, like everybody else who goes into this. So I think as long as you make it clear, like I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it came out 25 years ago.
Yeah,
but Joss Whedon, absolutely, anything that he came out with now, I would be very hesitant to support.
Yeah, I think it's like the way that I think about it in my mind is, can you consume a piece of media that has some deeper personal meaning to you within your childhood, within experiences, within those things? Absolutely. And I think most art should be consumed in that way.
Yeah.
It is a personal experience. It's a way that you interpret it. I think where our culture and who we are now is we've really made like celebrity these moral figures within our life. And it does take a lot to separate. Like, for example, if it came out that Taylor Swift was doing something P. Diddy was doing right now, like that would be a very hard experience.
It'd be devastating. Yeah.
Mainly because I can bookend my life within those albums. But would I stop buying her albums? Would I stop consuming all the media that I do? Would I stop talking about her on a public podcast? Absolutely. And I think that's really the distinction. And, streaming an artist is 10 cents, buying someone's variants or making positive media about someone. I do think they are different. I think in my mind, like a lot of the examples that I thought of were just, a lot of them were like, have you done really bad things to children? Like, have you taken advantage of these really vulnerable groups of individuals. And I think a lot of them do come down to that. Like, I think a good example of, like, I just absolutely cannot is Dan Schneider.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I know we've talked about him a lot, where it's
taking advantage of children. And like you said, it's vulnerable groups of people. I mean, children can't stand up for themselves at all. And that's where I would draw the line too. And that's why P. Diddy, I mean, this is all still pending, right?
Alleged.
But like, you fuck with kids, you're done.
Yeah.
And there are other things that obviously I would draw the line on, like Chris Brown. If you assault women, if you beat women, like I'm sorry, you're done to me. If you've said the N-word on record, you're done. I'm sorry. Like Morgan Wallen, Paula Dean, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody has their own point where they're willing to go, okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But I think as a person, each of us has our own moral guideline. And like, it's if you are blatantly racist, homophobic, a rapist, obviously, then I can't support that. Kanye West, I can't mess with just everything anti-Semitic he said. And that really sucks. Like, I remember I loved those early Kanye albums, right? And when he said George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Yeah, iconic.
Oh my God, go off. But then when he started putting on the Trump hat and saying anti-Semitic shit, in his words, anti-Semitic shit, no, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a very delicate one. And, you know, I think a good example of that is Harry Potter. I think most individuals, Harry Potter was such a part of your life that you grew up with it. Like, I remember when the 7th book came out and the midnight release and staying up all night and just being 15 and like a little girl, like reading my books. And that really got me introduced to literature. And, you know, J.K. Rowling, she's very controversial. Like, I will not support her anymore because of the way she feels about trans people. And that is a really hard thing for me to reconcile. Those movies are my childhood. They're so iconic, and I can appreciate that. I think one of the beauties of a fanfic like Manacled that we discussed a little bit, it is someone, you know, really taking the art and the story and the characters that we love.
And claiming them as their own.
Reclaiming them as their own, making them gay, trans, whatever, non-binary. Speaking of that, I don't know if you saw Daniel Radcliffe just wrote J.K. Rowling an open public letter.
I haven't read it yet.
Exactly talking about this exact subject.
That's amazing. And I saw that J.K. Rowling recently said she would never forgive Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe for the way they didn't support her. And both of them were like, I mean, like I said, I haven't read Daniel Radcliffe's response, but up to this point, both of them and Rupert Grint have all been very pro trans movement, like LGBTQ, which I am so happy about. And I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Like, when you look back and these things are so transformative to your life as a child and have been with you since you grew up, right? Like, the Harry Potter novels really spoke to a lot of people about what it was like, at least how they read it, to be kind of different and weird. And you're the weird kid in school, and you're a wizard.
Good, you know?
Yeah, and you're like misunderstood. Maybe your family doesn't understand you, but you can find family in these other people. Like, your family doesn't have to be your blood. And honestly, I feel like a lot of LGBTQ kids probably related to those novels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it kind of felt like an allegory, kind of like the X-Men, for being different and quote unquote weird and misunderstood. And then all of a sudden to find out that the person who created this doesn't feel that way is gut-wrenching.
Yeah, the open letter that he wrote on behalf of the Trevor Project. Really,
I love the Trevor Project.
Yeah, so he's been pretty actively involved with them. He kind of addressed this, can you separate Harry Potter from J.K. Rowling?
Yeah.
And his take on it was absolutely, these impacted your lives. If you are trans, non-binary, and you saw yourself within any of these characters, that is valid, and that is your relationship to a piece of art. And actively supporting and giving your money versus appreciating the art as it is, I think it's very different. You know, there are
Absolutely.
ways where if you have a book from your childhood that you don't want to give this individual money, but it really does mean something to you, there are free ways to obtain that where you're not really putting your money there. I think for me, it really is like, if I've given money in the past, that is a wash, but I can do the best to vote with my dollar, with my cents moving forward, and, you know, really just having honest conversations about the art that we're consuming and really being conscious of what kind of message does supporting the person behind the art portray.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if you have those old Harry Potter books that you've had since childhood, there's no shame in reading those. If those were your comfort books growing up, and this is something that you grew up with and you find a lot of value in. I have my Buffy the Vampire Slayer DVDs. Like, I'm not going to burn those, you know, but if J.K. Rowling comes out with something new, maybe don't support it if that's not something that you agree with, right?
Yeah.
If Chris Brown or P. Diddy or Roman Polanski or Woody Allen.
Why do you think West Side Story tanked so bad? And I think
literally,
that is a great
I'm not going to mess with that. I'm not going to give that my money, you know? And I remember in high school, I wrote a paper about Woody Allen and how I loved him.
Disgusting, but...
Yeah. And now I look back on it, but I was 15 and, you know, and I was in a creative arts, like writing class, and we were supposed to write about somebody in Hollywood we admired, and I had no idea. Yeah. I just knew that I liked his movies from the 70s that I got to watch. And now I would never give him another dime, but I can't disparage past Shauna for things that she didn't know and, you know, for things that she enjoyed as a product of their time. That, you know, we shouldn't feel bad about. Yeah. And everybody has their own moral guidelines of where they're willing to draw the line. I have some friends who still like Crystalia, right? And I have, and if that's where they draw their moral compass, maybe that's not where I draw mine. And we have friends who still like Morgan Wallen. Yeah. Right? And I not that you and I ever messed with that. But
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think, you know, in this crazy world where we have so much information coming at us all the time, I think a lot of the time where people get shut down in these conversations of, well, how could you like that individual? Like, sometimes it really is like education.
Yeah, education, absolutely.
I know entirely too much about really random things.
It's almost like you should host a pop culture themed podcast.
Yeah, and so I will volunteer information, be like, did you know this about that person?
You've done that to me so many times where I've said that I like someone and you're like, actually, did you know? And I'm like,
they did this.
You, Olivia. I did not know that. Now you just
I know. I ruined Will Smith for everyone. And
he ruined it for himself a little bit too.
Yeah, no, way before the slap. He ruined it for himself starting a school for children for Scientology.
Oh God, I forgot about that. See, I forgot about that.
Building the whole thing. Like the slap, whatever, you know, you're brainwashing children. Yeah. Again, a lot of it is just like, what are you doing? But I think a lot of it does come down to education. And people generally have the best of intentions. So I think you can go with it from that lens of, you know, hey, maybe this individual does not know about these things that you're aware of. Yeah. And you can talk to people about that. But yeah, I think for me, it's just, I'm not trying to give my money to people who have a pattern of behavior that is bad. Like if someone makes an offhand comment one time that is in really, really poor taste, can you prove over time that you're a better person? Absolutely. I think that's part of the human experience.
Absolutely.
But, you know,
I think that's the thing is like, if you pull up somebody's past tweets from 15 years ago and they said something stupid,
a little offhanded.
Yeah. Then like James Gunn was fired for a second from Marvel for past tweets, right? But has he shown a pattern of behavior since then that he's still an asshole? No. I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but I mean, he kind of, listen, like we have to give people a chance to grow and redeem themselves. Do I think that there's some things that there's no coming back from and you should not have a fucking public platform? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not saying that you should unalive yourself and I'm saying, but you shouldn't be, you shouldn't cease to exist.
You shouldn't be making millions of dollars.
But you shouldn't be making millions of dollars and making something that's for public consumption that people are going to fawn over you about, like Louis C.K., right? Just drift into the distance. Like people like that who just go and live your
It is funny that he was like
life.
the poster child of being canceled.
Ugh.
And how cruel it was, and la 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 la. And we're not going to get into the Louis C.K. and the Me Too movement, but he won a Grammy 2 years later.
Yep.
And so,
that just kind of goes to show too that white straight men in this country are so easily kind of forgiven. I mean, Mel Gibson has had work since he came out and had like awful racist
commercially
rants.
Successful enough to be considered to win a Grammy. So
absolutely. And so that's important too, to like realize kind of the race and gender aspect of it, where you do have more leeway and cushion if you are a handsome white straight guy, right? I mean, not that Louis C.K.
to bring it back
handsome,
to X-Men, like Bryan Singer.
Yep.
People were very, very intense with him about what he did and how he was abusing individuals. If you've never seen the documentary Open Secret,
no,
it is on Vimeo.
Are you about to ruin X-Men for me? Because please don't.
Well, Bryan Singer's X-Men. Do you not know what Bryan Singer did?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, you're about to shake my life.
Bryan Singer is a terrible person.
God damn it.
And he is schmetophile. And
stop being schmetophiles, everybody.
Yeah,
just stop it.
No, and it comes out in this documentary and Open Secret. It's on Vimeo. It is free. It is amazing. It really, really exposes just like this pattern of behavior. They tried to release it during the Me Too movement.
Yeah,
it is about young boys. So unfortunately, they killed it. It was a Oscar-winning director of documentaries. It's amazing, but ultimately it really talks about Bryan Singer a lot and the group around him and all the crazy stuff that has happened with them.
Damn. See, you keep opening my eyes. God, and absolutely. I mean, it comes back to what we say. Just if you don't know, then you don't know. And you can't disparage someone for not knowing something and not being as plugged in as we are with all of this shit, right?
Absolutely.
But then once you've learned something, it's kind of up to you to go, where do I spend my dollar? Where do I spend my time? What do I want to consume? What do I want to support? I mean, is it okay to listen to old Kanye and not support new Kanye? It's just... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's Amy Berg.
Amy Berg.
She won an Academy Award for Deliver Us from Evil. She was one of the original documentarians to expose the Catholic Church.
Shit. So she kind of works in this realm of child abuse.
Yes. And so when she was one of those initial people, and this, I want to say it premiered at Sundance. And immediately after, not a single person would take it up distribution. You still can't find it on any streaming platform. So
somebody nixed that. Somebody killed that shit.
That's why it's on Vimeo. And she was like, no, this needs to get out. So, I think there's a lot of information. I think I try to hold corporations a lot more responsible to these things, because there's an entire team and system to make sure you didn't know that. You're such a big X-Men fan.
And I didn't know that.
Where not knowing that about Bryan Singer is astonishing.
There's hires up at Disney and Marvel who are doing hiding that dirt. And that's on purpose that I don't know that shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think, it's a very complex topic that we're discussing. And I think when you're thinking about it in your own life, it's okay, let's try to have these informed discussions. I think pop culture is important for that reason. It really illustrates our society and allows us to have discussions. A lot of times people are like, celebrity gossip and thing is so vapid, but it is such a light on our society and how we interpret things. And we've had amazing discussions about it. But I think when you're really looking at it, it is, okay, how do I maybe respect the memory that art has, but not support the person?
I think that's true of any form of art. And like, that's so true that people think sometimes if you mention pop culture that you host a pop culture podcast or you're into pop culture, they think you're vapid, right? Mm-hmm. No, the pop culture that you consume says so much about you. And there's so many deeper meanings behind what you watch, what you spend your time doing, right? And nostalgia is so important to so many people, especially over COVID and over these past tumultuous times with the Trump presidency and just all the shit that we've been through for the past, 10 years, right? There's been such a push of nostalgia. And remember when we all used to do this?
Remember when we were happy?
Oh, yeah, I remember. And that's pop culture right there. If you remember those times where you used to watch that show and be happy, that's pop culture. You remember when you were back a kid in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, I don't care. Like, that's pop culture. That's what you grew up watching, listening to, and that's what shapes you as a person and what you watch going forward and what you care about, right? Like, I mean, this fucking show came out 20 years ago and I'm still repping it. My Buffy t-shirt again.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, we could go on and on about this, but I think it's really about knowing your morals and understanding who you want to support, what you want to support, where you draw that line, and who you want to give your money to going forward. And if you can still reconcile listening to it or watching it in the past and it doesn't kind of make you squeamish.
Yeah, ethical consumption as much as possible, but
absolutely. Ethical consumption.
We're on a floating rock. The world is hard. If it brings you joy, just try not to give them money.
Listen, if you still have your Harry Potter, Blu-ray disc, and you're like, listen, my comfort film is Goblet of Fire. That's a strange comfort film. Yeah. It's a little dark, but who am I? Listen,
see, I do love Goblet of Fire because
I love Goblet of Fire.
Hermione is so beautiful in that. She looks so good.
Is that the one where they all go to the dance and her and Ron are first starting to be like,
well, no,
if you would have wanted to dance with me, you would have just asked me, Ron.
Her and Victor he was so hot.
Ooh, justice for Victor Crumb.
Maybe that's why I really have a love for that movie.
And Cedric Diggory.
Yeah.
Ugh. But we love our Pat here at Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
I wasn't like the other girls. He was my favorite.
Oh my God.
I like the Harry Potter Robert Pattinson.
I love a good Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we used to all pace our personalities? Like, I would meet people and be like, oh, it's really nice to meet you. By the way, I'm a Slytherin. What are you? You meet people that you know are kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
And be like, cool, nice to meet you. What are you? What house are you in?
Yeah.
What's your Patronus?
Thankfully, I never got a Harry Potter tattoo, so.
I know. I'm glad I never got one.
Yeah. I was close.
Did we talk? Oh, you're a Gryffindor, though, huh?
Yeah.
We did talk about this.
I think I was lying to myself then. I was in my pick-me era. I think I need to retake it.
No, you can't retake it. You don't get to go to the Sorting Hat twice.
Okay, well, I'm a different person now, so I do.
You were when you were in high school.
I'm a new spawn.
Spawn.
I'm a new spawn.
Was that a video game reference?
Yeah.
She died. Now she new spawned.
I respawned.
She respawned on a new map that is less transphobic.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God. Okay, wait, listen, listeners. Let's make new Harry Potter houses and we'll reclaim it as ourselves.
Okay.
And then we need to melt on this for a little while. That could be a cute podcast.
Let us know
could be a cute discussion.
What you think our 4 houses are.
I saw some cute TikTok recently that was like, you must be sorted into the 4 houses. They are slut, nerd, bitch.
I'm bitch. That's for
sure. The last one, I forgot what the last one was. It was something stupid. And I was like, I don't know.
You were all 3.
I was like, what if I'm a slutty, nerdy bitch?
And I love that.
And I love that for me.
We're not one note anymore.
It's called being multifaceted, honey.
It's called being gender fluid and being multifaceted.
Flaceted? And that's called Freudian slip, honey.
Multifaceted.
I think the best example of me and you being multifaceted is that we can have discussions in this podcast where we were like, yeah.
Can you separate the art from the artist?
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, poop and pee-pee. And then the next minute we're like, well, yes, according to the Me Too movement in this study from the...
You know... I'm in all the houses.
And that's called Get You a Girl
None of
Who Can Do
JK's,
Both.
but I'm in the house. I'm in the houses. We are homed.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's wrap this up for all of my nerdy, slutty bitches out there. Olivia, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Livy Maries, LIVIMARIEZ, or you can find me on TikTok at Live Yo Life 420.
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Shauna Trinidad, SHAUNATRINIDAD. You can find the Pop Culture Junkie podcast social media links on our website, popculturejunkie.com. From there, you can find our podcast and all of our platforms. Give us that dopamine hit we crave by clicking subscribe, follow us, give us a 5-star rating, and a sincere, honest, but also really great review. We also have a Patreon. If you want to get some exclusive content, maybe some kind of saucy, uncensored content, Nicole's feet pics. I'm just kidding. Maybe my broken feet pic. I'll post my x-ray on the Patreon.
There you go. Get
if you want to see the in-between of my sweaty broken toes.
Why are they sweaty?
Because they're in a cast.
Oh, is that on the x-ray?
I mean, you can't see sweat droplets on the x-ray, but like it's sweaty right now. All right. If you want to see 1, the x-ray pic. 2, a sweaty toe pic. 3, exclusive content that you can't get anywhere else. Subscribe to our Patreon. Most importantly, sweaty toe pics. And please come back next time for another hit of pop culture.
The Pop Culture Junkie podcast is produced by Jeff Markin and Cheryl Lightfoot for the Pop Culture Entertainment Network.